everyone! Welcome back to another podcast session with the lovely folks over at BINUS University Podcast 2.0. My name is Francisca Natania Cristianos, and I'll be your host for today's podcast. Let me start by saying, how is everyone doing today? I hope you all doing great on this gorgeous sunny day. Do what makes you happy. But also don't forget to stay hydrated and listen to our latest podcast so you guys won't miss some good topics like this one. Alright, for today's topic, we have some special guests to address their opinions on what is adaptation. Please welcome Aurelia Areta Natania, Alit Melati Tritayasa, Isabel Kiara Projaga, and Brian. Woo! Before we go straight up to what you guys think about this topic, which is adaptation, I would like to give a brief summary or my research of this topic and what my opinions for this topic as well. So adaptation can be referred to a process that leads to many interpretations and debate. This is a temporary part of a human nature, so that will be normal, and that also became a concept for several major social disciplines such as psychology. Well, it happened a lot of time if an individual, for example, went to a new place that they have never been before or they have never seen before. Nature would ask you to adapt to this behavior or environment that the society have to offer that could also lead you to accept different point of views in life. That is a little summary of what adaptation in my opinion is. To apply this for everyday task is to understand and learn the basic rules that an environment already applied. And in my opinion, this behavior is important because it helps you to explore new thoughts and points that a group of people are already applied to. Of course, it is just my opinion. But I wonder what the other thinks. So, what do you think about this topic, Alit?
Hi Francisca. For me, adaptability is a person's ability to adjust themselves to a new environment or a new condition. They are able to respond in the right way when their surrounding environment changes. Adaptability is important because it helps us to get comfortable in a new environment, like graduating from high school and adjusting to college or university life. Also, for us to be able to socialize with other people. In my life, adaptability is very important because I moved from city to city during my school year. Moving to a new city was very challenging as I experienced different cultures and lifestyle, especially in Jakarta. It was hard at first to adapt to the fast-paced life of the city of Jakarta, but from time to time, I got the hang of it. Besides that, adaptability helps me get comfortable doing things outside of my comfort zone. I'm currently trying new things that I haven't tried before, such as knitting, baking, and crocheting. A little bit of story time. When I was in high school, I joined my high school choir and performed in several shows and competitions. I had never done that before when I was in middle school. It was definitely a new experience for me. I see this BGA attribute as an important quality for us to have because it kind of relates to other BGA attributes such as initiative, critical and creative thinking, and growth mindset. It helps us to be brave, to take risk, and to initiate innovation or be proactive in group projects or other projects. Other than that, it teaches us to think outside of the box, to think of other possibilities to achieve our goals. I think that's it. Those are my thoughts on adaptability. Thank you.
So what Alit said was right. People need to adapt to their new surroundings and mingle with other people. This is because we are humans. We are social beings. If you feel alone for an extended period of time, you can damage your mental state. I'm speaking from experience. I felt alone before for quite some time, and it's really quite a sad place to be in. You need to find people to mingle with, let out your emotions. And this is especially important when you're moving to new places that's far from home, far from those you mingle with, far from those who you share friendship with. Let's say you're moving to a new university out of town, or perhaps in another country, or working in another country even. You'll need to be able to make new friends so you can have social interactions in real life. Otherwise, you will continue to feel alone. Connections through the internet, it's not enough for some people. And another reason would be if you're gonna go camping, you'd need to adapt to your surroundings once again. When you're camping, there shouldn't be any electricity, or what's more important to this generation, social media. There wouldn't be any of that either. You'd have to adapt to living in nature itself. And these kind of changes would seem pretty hard at the beginning, but it's a necessary change if you want to live in this world. This is my opinion. What about you, Aurelia?
Yeah, I totally agree with what you said, actually. It's very important to be able to adapt to our current social environment, right? Well, if you ask me about adaptability, I would say it begins with observing and accepting the new environment we are in. Then, what follows after the awareness is the decision making phase. Well, to be adaptable, I think it's crucial to have the right motivation before doing things because things change, and in order to avoid being misled by emotions and all that, a firm why is heavily crucial. Maybe the why could be a goal or simply the desire to learn throughout the process. In my experience of seeing people with great adaptability skills, I noticed them having a common characteristic. That is, instead of being stuck blaming the people and circumstances, they put an effort into finding a solution for themselves. The way I see it, adapting is not only to severe changes like the current COVID-19 pandemic, for example, but it is also very significant in our daily lives. For instance, when we suffer a loss due to someone's shortcoming or failure. Well, in fact, I've just experienced this the other day, and had to adapt to the misfortune it brings, actually. But oftentimes, since we could not control the circumstances or change people, to continue walking and growing, most of the time, changing and being flexible is the best option, actually. Although it's obvious that changing is unpleasant, but if we were to wait for external changes, I believe we'll get stuck eventually. Let's just take university as an example. Generally speaking, at university, we'll encounter new knowledge, skills, people, perspectives, opinions than what we've experienced during high school, right? It's an institution where we learn adaptability skills in terms of regulating emotions and seeking new knowledge before embarking on our career path. It's important because this flexibility allows us to persevere instead of collapsing and cracking under new incoming pressures. So, especially for BINUSIANs, I believe that this value should be implemented in everyone's life. Especially when we fail, we know we need to accept it and adapt. Otherwise, how can we move on and grow? This is a simple example, I would say. Like when we fail, we know we have to adapt, right? So just to conclude, I personally think being adaptable entails viewing every incident, whether it's good or bad, as a learning opportunity. By being adaptable, we could deliver excellent performances and also work in every circumstance without losing effectiveness and efficiency. I think that's all from me, I guess. Once again, thank you for inviting me here. I'm very excited to be able to share my opinions regarding this.
Now, I would like to answer the question, which is how to apply the BA attribute based on my opinion. Which in this case, the attribute that is picked is adaptability. Before I can answer on how adaptability is used in our daily lives, we need to understand what it means. Adaptability is one's ability to adapt into new environments. This ability can be seen when you enter a new environment, like when it's the first day of school, when you get a new job, and many more kinds of situations. This is an important skill when you want to fit in with the others. Now, to apply this ability to adapt in our daily lives, we need to analyze the surroundings when we enter an unfamiliar environment. Then, you need to understand it and act accordingly. This is a necessary skill that you need to train in order to survive in society. You can try this skill by keeping an open mind and visiting new places. You can also interact with new people and participate in events. For the second question, which is why this skill is important for BINUSIAN, is because to exceed in excellency, we need to have this ability to be able to fit in new environments. When we get new classes, of course we will get new classmates, and sometimes we don't know the new classmates we get, and because of that we should be able to adapt with new people. Or maybe when you do team projects, you might not be with people you are familiar with, and with that you must be able to adapt with new people. That is all. Thank you.
I think that is a wrap, folks. Thank you so much for y'all who have been listening to today's podcast session, and for the guest whom we contacted in such a short notice and still came in time. It means a lot to us. And to whoever you are out there, I hope this podcast helped you to adapt with new situations for a better future. I think that is it for me. I'm your host, Francisca Natania Cristianos, and from BINUS University Podcast 2.0. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast today. Stay safe and goodbye.